Now I don't know about you, but all I need in my gaming life is just a Nintendo and a PlayStation. And all the games for them. I don't need no fancy schmancy necromancy gaming PC, and none of Microsoft's IPs interest me except for the ones that I really wish didn't belong to them. And let me just be clear how I feel about online gaming.
No, I don't need no internet.
And sometimes I just wish Ninty and Sony would quit beefing and just collaborate on one amazing console that could host all their games together. Holy shit, they almost did. When gaming was on the verge of the third dimension, Sony and Nintendo nearly partnered up to release a CD-based add-on for the SNES, but Nintendo backed out of the deal to partner with a rival company. Which is pretty fucked up, but it makes you wonder what the gaming landscape would be like if they didn't. Would they still be partners? What other company would try to nuzzle its way into the market? And what would have become of all the great franchises that got their start on the original PlayStation? Would they be different? Would they even exist? Only the other timeline can answer these questions, but there is one game that we know with total certainty would never have existed. No! Crash Bandicoot was the brainchild of Sony, Universal Studios, and an up-and-coming developer called Naughty Dog. He was meant to be the PlayStation's answer to Nintendo's Mario and Sega's Sonic, because in the 90s, every game company needed an animal mascot platformer. A Bandicoot is a marsupial native to Australia, and Crash is a sort of cross between that and the Tasmanian Devil, which is also an Australian marsupial. The game took a lot of inspiration from past platformers, but still shined among them with its own direction, design, and difficulty. Crash Bandicoot wumped into the world and into our fast-beating hearts in 1996, and was such a hit at the box office that it spawned 2 superior sequels and opened a Pandora's box of PlayStation mascots. After spinning off Crash into a kart racer in 2001, Naughty Dog was acquired by Sony, while Crash went multi-platform, expanding to the Xbox and the Nintendo Game Box. Sadly, this would-be exciting time is when things fell apart. For the next decade, Crash spun between several third-party studios, never finding a quality footing and eventually losing his essence. The series that put the PlayStation on the map crashed and burned. But a few years ago, moves were being made. Rumors were floating. Things were being said by people with mouths. And finally, at E3 2016, it was official. The original 3 PlayStation games were being remade from the ground up and re-released to every platform under the Gen 8 sun. The Crash N-Sane Trilogy represents the only prosperous period the series ever knew, and that's the one featured in this video.
You forgot to mention Crash Team Racing!
Oh, and Crash Team Racing is also really good.
That's all I have to say about that.
Games with cartoony art styles tend to age better graphically than games that go for realism. The Wind Waker is an oft-referenced example. And while the old Crash games still look great, these remakes look so good that there's no reason to play the oldies. Unless it's super nostalgic for you, I get it. I understand. I still prefer the old Pokemon. The games were already praised for the graphics of their time through the use of vertex animation and other things I don't understand, but the remakes are just gorgeous. Everything from the backgrounds to the Wumpa Fruit is so much more detailed. The textures are deeper, the animations are smoother, the colors are vibrant, the cutscenes are fully realized, the water and fire effects look awesome, all the pixel aliasing and jagged polygons have been painted over without a single box out of place. This is a dazzling step up from this. This, my friends, is how you do a remake. The music aged even better than the visuals, but they still had the heart to fully treat the soundtrack to a live recording, complete with all the sweeping harps and xylophones that capture the kooky, off-kilter sound of the originals. Like most platformers, Crash Bandicoot has a ridiculous story. Dr. Neo Cortex was not always a mad scientist. He was just a scientist who was driven mad by the constant ridicule of his colleagues for his insane theories. But when he seeks revenge by taking over the world with an army of genetically enhanced animals, you realize that they were right. This is crazy. He's also a hack, having taken credit for the invention of his assistant, Dr. Nitrous Brio, whose name really should have been Igor. Down under in the Wampa Islands, a fictional archipelago south of Australia, they use this device to mutate the many native animals. Some become basic enemies like fish, birds, and lizards. Some become bosses like the koala bear, the aboriginal, and the kangaroo. But one becomes the hero. Cortex intends for it to be the captain of his animal army, but little does he know that he just fucked himself for 3 whole games. The machine malfunctions and Crash escapes, but must return to save his girlfriend, Tawna.
Prepare the female Bandicoot.
Prepare her for what? So the Evolvo Ray is what gave Crash the power to do this.
Spin move!
Alright, Crash Bandicoot. Gonna do this. Oh my god! Is that it? Nah, I got it. Nice. Hey, this game's gonna be easy.
It is with great pride that I officially open this unfinished bridge.
Crash Bandicoot was and is unlike any other platformer. You can really tell the devs were thinking outside the box. They had to by the very nature of their project. It was one of the first attempts at a 3D platformer. There was nothing like it before, and there's been nothing like it since. Except for 3D Sonic and Mario 3D. Mostly because the 3D platformer went the route of the collectathon. Crash is what I like to call a 3D side-scroller. There's an overworld, or in the later games a hub world, with a bunch of linear levels that you beat by getting from A to B. And besides the scattered side-to-side sections, it's mostly like running forward down a winding corridor with Crash's back facing the player, which kinda sucks because you don't get to look at his goofy mug very often. You know, funny story about that. During development, they nicknamed the project Sonic's Ass Game. So Crash got his name from the fact that he crashes into stuff. But before that, his name during development was Willy the Wombat.
Gay, totally gay, Liberace gay.
Fortunately, that name was already taken by Disney. Coins, rings, bananas, every platformer needs some kind of currency of which 100 equals 1 life. And the local delicacy of this region is the Wumpa fruit. But this game ain't about funny looking mangoes. It's about the boxes they're shipped in. Each level has a certain amount of different types of crates. Regular box, deadly box, checkpoint box, fruit box, bounce box, and of course, Tawna, his squeeze box. Now there's another type of box. This is Aku Aku. At first, the only information on him was found in the original game's manual. He's the spirit of a witch doctor inhabiting a tiki mask. He's basically a combination of this and this. Now if Crash has one, he can take 1 hit. If he has 2, he turns gold and can take 2 hits. And he grants temporary invincibility on the 3rd. But his full story is yet to be told. Now Crash isn't a collectathon per se, but it does have collectibles. Breaking every crate in a level will earn you a gem. But I'll get back to that later. Crash must fight his way through the 3 Wampa Islands. The first is basically his home. Natural settings like beaches, jungles, and rivers. The second features more artificial structures like ruins, temples, and a bridge, while the third has been fully taken over by Cortex's towering lair. So this is Stormy Ascent, a level that was cut from the original, and is considered one of the hardest in the series.
Whoa!
Holy shit. Oh my god, okay. I made it. You guys. I'm serious. Hey, you think all this turtle hopping is a reference to Mario? Oh, yeah, that's right. Ugh, good thing I came prepared. Oh god. Oh my god. Oh, what is this? Oh my god. Oh, fuck. Oh my god. Oh, I can't believe that happened. Alright, go. Oh. Oh my god. Oh shit. Oh shit. Ah! Son of... Oh god, what is this? Oh. Nope. There. And then... Oh, okay, I got him. Alright, I know what to do now. I got it. What? He wasn't supposed to come that close. In the end, Crash defeats Brio in his lab and Cortex on his orbiting airship, and rides away with Tana as the madman plummets. And the sequel picks up exactly there. Cortex falls into a cavern filled with crystals able to control the power produced by an upcoming alignment of the planets. 1 year later, under the impression that he's turned a new leaf, Cortex manipulates Crash to gather these crystals by traveling around the world via portals from an ancient warp room built during the previous planetary alignment. Cortex is aided this time by Dr. Strangelove.
Why didn't you tell the world, eh?
And pursued by his former henchman Igor, who implores Crash to gather gems for him instead. You know, for a ridiculous story, it's actually got some alright character development. Although Tana has been swapped with Crash's sister Coco with zero explanation, other than Universal wanting to go for cute rather than sexy. No! Coco is a computer expert, and while Crash is out beating the game, or when the game's out beating him, she's hacking Cortex's mainframe to discover that he is in fact double-crossing them, and plans to harness the crystal's energy to brainwash everyone on Earth. Hey, you see how Cortex fell from the blimp and lands right below? Well, how come when Crash fell from the tower, he lands all the way over here?
What is up with that?
And what's the point of brainwashing everyone to be in the same army? If there's no other armies, what do you need an army for? Lauded as one of the best sequels in all of sequeldom, Cortex struck back with new moves like the dash attack and a belly-flopping ground pound, nitro boxes, crystals, and many more secrets. And right here, we see the Bandicoot in his natural habitat. You know, sometimes I wish Crash also had voice acting.
Make yourself useful, big brother, and bring an extra battery for me.
Stop being a cunt!
The environments are all places a Bandicoot has no business in, like snowy tundras and sewers, but they're not as varied as the game sandwiching it. God damn. You know, I don't care how cute this bear is, I hate him. This bear is the worst bear in the whole game. Oh, I just fucked myself. Oh, I can't do this now. Oh, I made it. Oh, get on easy. No! Oh, I'm gonna cheat this whole fucking level, fuck it. Oh, God, get him! Alright, just slowly, no rush. Yeah! Fuck it. Are you? Wow. This time I'll. Alright, let's. Oh my god. Yes! Yeah, fuck you! Little moo cow. Oh my god. You got this? Yeah! Yes! I will beat this level through very unorthodox methods. After gathering all the crystals and defeating Cortex, this happens.
Crash, what do you suppose happened to Cortex? And what about the Cortex Vortex? It's still up there.
It's only when all gems are gathered that the canonical ending is reached. And Crash Bandicoot's status as a trilogy starts right now. Cortex's space station crash lands into the prison temple of Uka Uka, the palindromic evil twin of Aku Aku. It turns out Uka was pulling the strings all along, and Cortex has one last chance to not fail him, this time with the help of Dr. Entropy.
I'm an Entropy fan.
So Aku takes the children to a time-traveling hub world to gather the crystals and gems before the baddies do. Again, ridiculous story, interesting character arcs. After 2 whole games of players finally got an explanation for one of the most fascinating health meters in all of gaming. Can we all agree that this is the best Crash theme? Warped is my favorite installment. It's the one I played as a kid that introduced me to the series. But I don't think I'm being nostalgic when I say that it's also the objectively best one. The Great Wall of China would make a great water slide. You know, they should fill the LA River with that thing that's usually in rivers, water, and then people can jet ski to work and cut down on traffic. Warped features the best and most diverse environments in the series. Due to its time-twisting nature, each level draws on different historical periods. Arabian, Egyptian, Asian, Roman, and even the Jurassic and the Future Age. On top of that, there's 3 different vehicle-based levels and water levels. Also, after 2 games of instant drowning, now you finally learned how to swim. I like how they gave him a scuba suit. Like, how can Mario even breathe? Need like a running start, and there we go. Oh, what the f***? Oh, shit. Okay, it's cool. Oh, well now it's not. Crap. Oh my god! Oh, what in God's name? How am I supposed to... How do I go back? Oh my god. Oh, with the bullshit. Get over. Yeah. Oh, okay, well, I think I can make it. Oh, I don't even care anymore. I want to lose. Oh, Jesus. I went from like 30 lives to 8. 7. Screw it. Oh, son of a bitch! I can't. Every time. Son of a fuck! Alright. Yeah. Getting up there. Oh, shit. Oh, God! Warped also added several gameplay elements such as ability upgrades and Coco as a playable character, although they made her playable in all 3 games for the remake, which is a very nice touch. Warped's other big contribution was a new challenge, Time Trials, that rewarded a new collectible, relics. These were also implemented into the first 2 games for the remake, but are not as pleasant a surprise as Crash's cute little sister. Why not? Well, that brings me to one of my final points. So at first glance, Crash Bandicoot sounds like a fun, simple, casual platformer, right?
Wrong!
When the N-Sane Trilogy was announced, I was as hyped as the next guy. I was like, damn, they're actually doing it. And they're actually doing this good of a job. I thought this would be a nice little nostalgia trip, a nice little way to revisit my childhood. But here's the thing, I was primarily a child of Nintendo, and I only ever played the 3rd game, and I was reminded by something that I'd forgotten over the past 20 years. Holy shit, these games are hard as fuck. Like, old school controller breaking back when games were hard. The level design is intentionally deceptive. The checkpoints are spread far apart. The whole thing is very trial and error based, and the difficulty curve falls off a steep cliff after a few levels. You have to know precisely when to jump, spin, and dash at every given moment. And it's not just design, there's also some technical issues. Depth perception is so poor it leads to many preemptive and misjudged actions. And we all know controls are crucial in a platformer, And while this is a step up from the tank pad, it doesn't feel like it registers sensitivity very well, and the design of the game was built around the idea of the D-pad, so sometimes I still play with it and it feels more natural than the analog stick. And the only good thing about dying are these hilariously brutal death animations. You know, this game could have really used a restart level button.
If the fate of the world is truly your concern, you must gather the gems, not the crystals.
I would rather help him destroy the world. You know, in utter contrast to the rest of the game, these bosses are insultingly easy. And as if beating the game wasn't hard enough, completing the game is a nightmare. Each level has a certain amount of crates, and you have to smash every single one to earn the gem. Coco, don't give me that look. I know that look, I invented that look, don't give me that look. It is so fucking hard to break all the crates in the levels. After crashing into box after box after box, all I could think was,
Isn't there anything on that isn't about boxes?
and after you beat a level, you have to beat it again in a time trial challenge. There are no checkpoints, and you have to smash pretty much all the clock stopping crates because the cutoff is always by a nose. This earns you a sapphire, gold, or platinum relic, depending on the time you beat. And it is so fucking hard to beat the developer's time, and it doesn't even reward you with anything more than the other relics, which are also hard as fuck. And when all the gems and relics are collected, the most you get are secret cutscenes and bragging rights. These are some of the most unforgiving games I have ever played. I think I understand the title now. This shit will drive you insane. At one point, my script for this video was just this. It's 20 fucking pages. Crash Bandicoot is the type of game you must master to beat and complete. That you have to devote so much time to mastering its mechanics into your muscle memory and memorizing the levels like the back of your hand. I don't think I'll ever 100% these games because I don't have that kind of time anymore, and if I did, I would rather divide it among many other games. It's the kind of difficulty that gets so frustrating, it just stops being fun after a while, and becomes this bottomless source of stress and anxiety that boils the blood. And the only box you'll want to break is this one. Make no mistake, these games are classics, but they are games full of nothing but water temples.
Oh, what the hell?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yes, do it. Fuck you. Come on. Yes.
Oh god, back to this shit. Okay, alright, we can do this. I got this, freaking got this, man, we can do this. We freaking got this.
Come on. Get it. Up. Yes. What? I did it.
Wait, there was a key? It's no surprise that Naughty Dog is one of the most prolific developers today, having cut their teeth on one of the most iconic and challenging platformers of all time. Crash Bandicoot is a gaming icon, the OG PlayStation mascot, a unique take on the platforming genre, and the precursor to all the grueling platformers like Super Meat Boy and Cuphead. Even when looking back at games like The Lost Levels or Ghouls and Ghosts or Contra, they still don't hold a candle to the grind. That is Crash Bandicoot, especially when it comes to completionism. If I ever do 100% it in my lifetime, that's probably how long it will take. A lifetime. And I probably won't revisit them as much as Nintendo, Spyro, or other games of my youth, but they will always have a place in my heart and in my box.